Officially gonna start now. YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Boda back in the building with another podcast, a very exciting podcast. We have my two legendary co-hosts. We got Tweacz.
What up, what up?
And TheKryptman.
How's it going?
Yes, and let's start off by introducing our special guest today. I'm very excited to have him on, because when I was just starting out the channel, starting putting up videos, he found me pretty early on and gave me a lot of advice that I still go by to this day. A veteran, to say the least, and I'm happy to have him on. Let him introduce himself. That is ThatZeroPlays.
What up, gamers? Happy to be here.
Cool, man. We're happy to get a guest on. I'm happy it was first to be you. You want to give a little background on, what got you into Last Cloudia, what kept you here, things like that?
Sure, yeah. I've gone through a whole bunch of different gacha games over time, and I'm really picky and tend to just, if something doesn't hook me right away, I'll just move on to the next thing. And roughly a year ago, so not at launch, so I missed the Secrets of Mana event, but I came in at about the fall banner, I believe. So I started that and also Arknights about the same time, and then had a few others as well, and everything else kind of fell off. Those two I still play, though. Last Cloudia, the arc system and the way that souls are used, the overall economy tied into that was just super duper cool. Level of customization and theory crafting that goes into units and progression and the free-to-play experience. It's kind of uncomparable to a lot of other games out there, so that's why I have a very hard time walking away from this game, and at this point I probably focus on it more than anything else that I play. So
Nice.
Quality of life has kept me around even more, between auto farming over the last year and many of the other UI improvements and arena, lots and lots of other good stuff. So direction of the game I'm very pleased with.
Cool. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and I mean, would you guys consider the most recent another little quality of life multiplayer is now in the building?
Yeah, dude. Like,
Right.
all of the points that Zero just said, I completely agree with, and that's a lot of the biggest reasons I think I mentioned when we came around, like, to talking about why sticking with this game. Dude, it's been on such an upswing lately, especially with all the collabs, and then now with multiplayer, which is in beta, obviously, but it is a very good mode, and it's got a lot of upside and a lot of potential, so I'm excited for it.
Cool, cool. And Zero, you just started making beginner kind of guides and content on Last Cloudia. Did you used to make content in the past?
Yeah, I gave it a shot, and I'm a dad and got a full-time job and all that sort of stuff. So making content reliably only lasted about a month way back when. So I'm trying to pace myself a little bit more now. Maybe have something out every week or so, hopefully. So I did a bunch of just whatever. In the past, I played Magic the Gathering, competitive Destiny 2. I did some VR stuff, which is a ton of fun, but I'm hoping to start doing some streaming as well as just in general making videos that are going to be able to help people in Last Cloudia, since I feel reasonably informed with how much I'm in the subreddit and such, and talking with cool people like all you. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, we were talking earlier because I was asking Tweacz, if he'd seen you around, and he said that he sees you frequent the Reddit, but not the Discord so much.
yeah, I'm not in the Discord quite as often. I've gone in there a few times to get advice on builds and talk to some people, but I don't know. The Reddit just feels really good to me, and I don't know why. I feel like I always have super positive interactions on there, and it almost feels like there's a separate kind of culture and environment over on the Discord, so I just haven't been over there too incredibly much. But when I go in there, there's a lot of good information to be found, so I try to point people over there as well, especially if they are asking advice on builds and things like that. So
Nice.
Shout out to the newest Reddit mod, Dashaman, by the way. He
Oh!
just got added to that team, so he's going to be helping
Nice.
maintain the subreddit now. Yeah.
Very cool.
way.
A little
That's
bridge, another bridge in between.
beautiful.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if you guys will either agree or disagree, but it seems to me that Discord and Reddit are kind of like two sides of a coin. You either gravitate towards one or the other. I know Tweacz, you go through both, but At least that's my
a little bit.
experience.
I use Reddit a lot to. I don't really respond to a lot of people on Reddit, but like that's a good place for me to put like guides and builds because it's a standalone post, and people can like link that or look it up, and then people can have a discussion about it in the comments, which is what's something that Discord does not really have.
Right.
So that's the main reason I use it. I don't frequent it as much, but more just to share like the stuff that I've learned. But for real time talking about information and discussing mechanics and all that kind of stuff, Discord is definitely a more lively place for that.
For sure. Well, cool.
I've recently started to appreciate Discord much more, but more so on the side of things, because I kind of set up my own so that I could be bringing people in to just sort of chat back and forth when people have questions and things, and it's addicting, man. Having people come in and chat with you, and I'm always starved for more human contact, so I go out of my way to go respond to people when I should be doing more productive things probably, but Absolutely. It's a lot of fun.
Nah, I totally agree. It's a good place to just get that immediate feedback and talk with people offline, keep engaging. So yeah, I totally feel that. Cool. Well, happy to have you on, Zero, because obviously we've been talking back and forth for a while now. Appreciate all the advice you've given me over time, and yeah, I'm down to get into some of the hot topics if y'all are.
Yeah, let's roll it.
Let's roll it. So I know, Krypt, you're grinding how many accounts at the same time? 3?
Right now it's 3.
So Krypt is bringing 3 out of your 4 people in multiplayer right now.
and I'm currently sitting in a room with just myself and myself. So somebody needs to join Mr. Krypt's friend room real quick. We'll get this going.
I don't think we're friends.
I don't think we are either.
I
need to become friends. Yeah, absolutely. I saw you in one of my rooms the other day, and I was like, oh, hey, there's Buddha. I wonder why I don't see him more often. I was like, oh, well, it's because I'm running friend rooms, and he's not.
Wow, dude, we've done how many weeks of podcasts already?
I know, 3 weeks.
Dude, it's so hard to remove people from my friends list now. You were talking about that, Facebook post talking about you. I saw it got posted across multiple platforms. There was a Facebook post, there was a Reddit post, and it was about how I had removed somebody as my friend, and they were basically like begging me to add them back to my friends list. And it's like, it's not that deep, man. Like, I probably removed you because I didn't recognize your name immediately, and I was trying to help somebody 100%. Else. Or like, you were the person who hadn't logged in like the longest amount of time, which crazy enough these days is like, I don't think most people on my list go over like 6 or 7 hours anymore. So it's very difficult to like remove and prioritize people.
Right.
But we definitely, I certainly try to, especially when it's people that need help, I will try to get you on my list to lend you my support, or to like get you into the friend rooms if we're doing like a stream or whatever. But it's real hard to.
I get it, man. I get it.
To prioritize all that.
You're highly demanded, man. It's not a bad thing.
It's not that I don't want to play with people. I guess. Yeah. I guess that's a thing.
There's only so much supply you can give. You're just one man.
You might say those crypto stocks, the cryptocurrency is in high demand these days.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, the grind is real. Where do we even start with multiplayer? I know, Zero, you're having connection issues like many other people.
Yeah, on occasion. I've had a fair amount of time being able to go in and get some of the grind on. I found that simply restarting my app usually resolves it. Otherwise, I had a time where I had about 5 to 10 times in a row where just connected out, we'd start loading in, and then I would just get booted. So usually restarting the app would fix it for me, but then it could just come back up after about an hour or so. So little inconsistent. I think overall about 70% success rate in general, assuming I restart my app soon enough when I see problems. But
gotcha. Okay, so that's a connection issue more so than like the typical bug that people that should be able to play are getting that device requirement error. Do you, Tweacz or Krypt, have you heard anything from the dev side further on that?
Well, they did just put out the first round of update for a bunch of devices. So if anyone hasn't done that yet, there is a manual update. You can go to the Play Store and download the latest patch. So I think it was like not a few hours ago, maybe like 5 or 6 hours ago at this point. But yeah, so there's a lot more people that have downloaded that patch and have been able to play. Now, it's not everyone, it's not every device, but a lot of the Android devices are now available to play multiplayer, which is awesome.
Yes, I saw.
Especially myself, I've been grinding all morning, and I've been seeing a lot of new names, as opposed to like the past 2 days. So it's really encouraging, and a lot more lobbies for the Jala fight and all that kind of stuff. So which is awesome.
Perfect. I think that's a good segue into how broken is this Jalabahnga grind.
Don't say broken, because then
I'm so sorry.
I know you.
How lucrative.
How wonderful.
More efficient than past.
Thank you, Adis. It's
So
wonderful.
This is quite possibly, and I don't think quite possibly, this is definitely
Without a doubt,
the best cluster grind we have ever had in this game. Not only for regular clusters, but for rainbow clusters. So just as a reference point, I have now acquired 100 gold coins worth of.
Do you want to? That's something I think is worthy to put up on screen right now.
Should we do that?
Yes.
You switching over?
I'm switched over. Whenever you load it up, I will watch the stream. Boom.
While we're switching,
there we go.
I do have a question for you guys on this. So I was talking to somebody over in my Discord and told them that the cluster grind was really solid on this this bird quest, and they only have the level 20 unlocked, and I have no clue how they get the 100 because it was just unlocked for me. So what is it?
So you just have to beat the Jalabahnga in story mode first, and then it'll be unlocked once you beat the new recruit quest.
Got it.
And I actually have an answer for when the original Jalabahnga fight unlocks. You have to finish 3:18, which is Zekus the Immortal Knight in Underground Bronda, and that will unlock Port Aldana fight. I believe it is called Nightmare on the High Seas. And so that's exactly how to get that unlocked and start this grind.
Beautiful. Thank you, Craig.
Yeah. Many people were a little confused, and I figured you had to get that far in story. So, Crypt with the specifics.
That was
nice,
Captain Jabberwock. Shout out to he's in chat right now. He provided that in my Discord, so thank you to him.
The collector himself, very nice.
Nice. He's another person who just got a promotion within the community. He's now a veteran helper in the main Last Cloudia Discord. So
he deserves it.
Shout out to Jabberwock. He is also one of my very favorite Viking brothers and an amazing architect. So just gonna keep laying that on there.
Love
the
it.
accolades.
Nice.
They do pile up.
Nice. So yeah, are you? Oh, you're running the actual.
No. So here's the thing. I can't see that you're streaming right now. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You're good.
But I did just one-shot Jala which hasn't happened yet with Nero. So
I'm did.
See if it happens again. Yeah. It's RNG, right? So his timing of his ult is a little off, and then it's RNG as to if you get all the crits that you need to get the extra hat boost and all that kind of stuff.
So it is possible.
It is possible, and that's the first time I've ever seen it. But now we can go in and get some other stuff. So, what I was saying before, I now have acquired 100 gold coins from grinding this.
Wow.
It's obscene. My head hurts. It's just like it's exhausting, to be honest, to deal with the lag and people leaving, and it's just really annoying. But
how many runs do you think that is?
Bro, I don't know. So when I started this grind in the past 3 days or whatever, and I was so I just switched over this morning to a level 1 arc, probably 6 hours ago. So I haven't been using many orbs, but when I started this grind, I was maxed on blue, as well as have been collecting over the past 3 days. So, I mean, I've been using mostly a level 7 or a level 10 blue arc the entire time. That's a lot of runs. So I don't know how many that is or how many I've done. Probably 3 million plus worth of, so probably at least like 800. 800 plus, maybe 1,000 runs. I don't know.
Wow.
But it's been
so if it's 800 to 1,000, you're averaging like 10 to 12 coins per run over the long term, including your.
So I thought about this earlier, and I would put the average on about 8.
Fair enough.
Because you don't get 20, and sometimes you get 3. But I mean, you'll get 20, you'll get 3, but like more likely than not, you'll get around 7 or 8.
Hey, 8 falls within my little range that I put in my video. So
I gauged it like when I started thinking about it, about 8 was a good number. So with that said, my 1,000 is about 1,250 quests, or my 100 gold coins is about 1,250 quests, which is probably about right. I'll be honest.
Times 3 for all 3 rings, and then
Right.
continued for whatever else you want to do.
Insane.
I mean, but this isn't just for this week, right? Multiplayer is around to stay. Multi-coins are around to stay. This grind, this specific Jalabahnga grind, might only be the next, I don't know, 5 days or whatever we have left in it. But multiplayer itself will continue to be around. So it's not like you have to kill yourself to get these things today.
Right.
Yes.
If you're gonna grind over something, it's the clusters. It's the 5-star enhancement materials to upgrade your crazy, Venocleave. We need a million Dragon Eyes for that. So.
So the deal with that is, so I would say, since this is the first quest coming out and we don't know what's coming after this, this cluster grind may not always be here, because it is lucrative right now, but it's going to get removed in 5 days. Mm-hmm. So if you have the chance to do this quest whenever you can and join free parties and just get the free materials from it, do it.
It's my firm belief that the reason this is so lucrative is that it's the beta. So by incentivizing us to run this as often as possible, they're collecting huge amounts of data on what works, what doesn't work, what causes errors, what devices are good for it, and so they're essentially paying us in-game materials to be their beta testers.
Correct.
Which is great.
I will be a beta tester, 100%.
All the time, always.
Yep.
Worth.
Wow, that's big brain.
Smart.
Yep. I mean, so for reference, so that many quests I've done. I started this on whenever it released. We had I'm buying this. Let's do it. That's dope.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so jealous.
So, in reference for how lucrative this is, right? So I've done, let's say 1,000, 1,200 quests in this mode. I started my inventory at about 110 rainbow clusters. I had 0. So let's bring that up. I had 110 rainbow clusters. Now I have to this 110 when I started. I now have 301.
Good God.
I mean, subtracting whatever God Gates gave me over the last 3 days, but that's a very minute amount.
Yes.
That's what, 10, 15 clusters, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really care about that. What we care about is how much this has given me in about 1,000 plus quests. It's given me 190 worth, or let's say 175 worth in 1,000 quests. That is a crazy drop rate for something that we have literally never been able to farm. Never.
I love it.
On orb stages, sure, but never freely able to farm these because they're not in story maps. They're not in any event maps that we've ever had before that you could run consistently. But this is a nutty drop rate for something that we've never been able to farm.
So good.
With that said, along with it, 5-star materials, I had 0 of these when I started because I just upgraded my Levandus hammer to plus 40. I had 0. I now have 133. Which, again, that's a little bit less of a drop rate than rainbow clusters, which is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Eye is something I've always been short on, and I've got 180 stacked now, ready to go.
Just an absolutely disgusting amount, and it's amazing.
That's wonderful. So yes.
So I'm gonna throw this onto Nero because I know he can one-shot now consistently.
Oh, let's see it. So what's that? What was it? What was he doing? 17.5, or what was he hitting?
He was doing 17.9. So
17.9.
But he will now go to, which I don't even know. It's right there. This is what I'm running on him as a damage, because Jalabahnga is 0 res to earth. His S3 hits just as hard regardless. We don't need Trishula, so we just bump up all of his damage, all of his extra hits. So let's see if he can consistently one shot. He might get caught on the and I'm doing the story mode quest because I just don't feel like joining parties and dealing with the lag. But these Jalabahnga in story mode is the exact same HP and stats. So why not? It's free. I mean, it's free to run still. It's just more consistent because I'm running it solo. So let's see if we can do it. So now should be an 18,999 cap, and he should kill him in one S3, depending on timing of the
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first.
Didn't do it.
This is the first.
And I didn't put a revive on him, so it's not a big deal.
This is the
clickbait.
Oh,
and you died. You didn't just fail to kill him; you failed entirely.
Tweacz, what the heck, man?
So I forgot to mention the aspect of that is he needs the Devil Breaker with the Overture to get extra hits. So that cut out a lot of the TPS. Yeah, I don't mind dying at all. This is like get scared in. Yeah, okay. We'll see if it happens because his 40% skill doesn't matter, but that should kill him.
There it is. There it is.
So
correct me if I'm wrong, but barring JP, because who knows what's going on over there. This is the first global showcase of someone with the ring ever.
I would believe so.
Heck yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen anyone show it out, but I mean, yeah, this is probably it. I mean, I've grinded my ass off for this, so like, I would expect no one to be as psychopathic as me when it comes to this, but you know, what are you gonna do?
All right, two more to go. Let's get it.
You never know. You never know. Oh, did you stop?
You and me, Tweacz, by the end of the week.
People will get it. I mean, you're close, Krypt, and I know
Jawline's there.
Jawline's there, and I'm gonna die again because I don't really care, but you know, whatever.
I think
Jaw will have it like today.
He'll have it today.
Your stream cut out. I don't know if that's similar for everyone.
Well, let me put it back on then. How about we do that?
Waiting for that.
I think it might have been me, man. Every time I join Discord streams lately, it shuts them down. I don't know what it is. Maybe nobody wants to hang out with me. But, like Inma in Discord, anytime he is streaming, if I want to shut his thing down, all I got to do is just go in there, and it immediately closes. And I don't think that's him like doing that on purpose.
Right? Yeah, it's coming back up now.
Word. It's really funny. Why are you bullying me, Krypt? Why are you doing that?
What did I do?
You're bullying my stream.
Because you're shutting it down.
Oh yeah, I left. I'm not in there anymore. I just wanted to participate, man. I wanted to see. Okay.
Oh shoot.
Wow. Yeah, Discord's just being weird to us today, huh?
Yes.
I keep getting these join notification sounds. It's driving me insane. But we're rolling with the punches.
Nice.
Okay, so I think it's a good place to segue. Unless you have any more thoughts, Zero, feel free to chime in with anything that comes to your mind. But I was going to say, we're showing off Nero trying to one-tap this bird. You want to go into character builds? Because I know that can take some time.
Okay. Yeah, we can touch on that a little bit. So I think I did want to mention the best characters to use and build for this scenario. Since more people are getting into multiplayer and we've got a lot more devices available, it's good to know right off the bat who's going to be good to get you the most resources as quickly as possible. And to not deal with 30-second battles against Jalabahnga, instead making it 5 or less seconds to help out the team, right? The best unit to build for this is probably Shift Lilebette, because she's SCT-wise, she's the best unit and the best skill to just put a skill charge on and try to nuke Jalabahnga with.
Like S1?
You're going to need Bird Slayer, Special Boost, Maglion, whatever to max out her damage, but she only needs her S1. She only needs an S1, which is contrary to most of the units that are on this list who need a good bit of like limited items and skills. She needs nothing of that. She can get about one. She gets one stock on her S1 as well as about 90%, and she needs about 2 seconds to get the other one. If you use skill charge 1 and the poem book item, which I'm gonna put this stuff on her because she needs to have it.
That big old list you got there.
Yeah, dude, I mean, I know they are. I just gotta scroll.
Good lord.
The beauty of doing unit builds literally 24/7 that you just know where things are.
That's good. It would be nice though if they because those lists are starting to get a little excessive. We may need a little update on how to filter out.
A little bit, sure.
Maybe.
But I'm gonna show this right here. So she only has. You don't need flag for this. You can use instead of that use Tech Blade, and Scarlet Blade. It'll get you the most damage cap. But she doesn't need full damage cap. All you need to do is have one S1 hit over cap. Or over half the health. which she's going to do because her S1 persists through the ult. It's going to keep hitting. And then I can shoot a second
amazing.
and it's dead.
Nice.
And that was without phone booth, without any other SCT boosting skills, except for skill charge 1 and which was it? Did I have phone booth on there? I don't know. I might have had phone booth on there.
You had a lot of skill stock all over the place.
Okay, well I probably had let me clarify that, because I was using it. I was using her in my grind just now. So let me just yoink it off.
Well, and I wanted to mention, I don't know if I'm skipping ahead. If you don't have phone booth because you had to get that during the DMC collab with the Ark, Abandoned City of the Lost Sea, or the Sea, Abandoned City of the. Yo, I said that way too many times.
Yeah, you got it. Abandoned City of the Sea.
City of the Sea gives you at max level what, 15 seconds of skill stock?
Yes. At max level, at level 10, it's going to give you 15 seconds worth of SCT at the beginning of the battle.
So
which is enough, more than enough to get
your S1.
Yeah, your S1.
Right.
With skill charge. I mean, you can get at least one S1 if you don't have skill charge 1, which, I mean, I think it's on 2 arcs at this point, so you should be able to get it pretty easily, but, I mean, I understand that people wouldn't have it. You lose a little bit of damage by using that, because this arc is probably the best arc to use in this map, or in this quest, because not only at level 10 does it give plus 50% for the first skill used for plus 50% damage, but it also gives for big bosses. Jalabahnga is a big boss. I don't know if it's the max 40% or it gives max 40%, but it does scale. Her damage on her S1 scales really, really well with this arc against Jalabahnga. And honestly, every other unit is going to do really well with this arc against a big boss. So this is my go-to arc for anyone that's going to be farming this. Do it at least level 7 to get some damage out of it and some stats, but you don't necessarily need to use level 10. I actually use a level 1 arc just because my units are buff, and it saves souls, but you can use a lower than level 10 arc, that's for sure.
I was really... Oh, go ahead, Zero.
I was just going to say my sadness at not getting the Van arc persists even more thoroughly now.
Oh,
yes, yes.
That's all I wanted. I got all 3 units, but I didn't get any arcs.
What?
Oh, come on.
So this is a good example. So even though she got hit out of the animation, it still hits the entire skill.
Yes, persisting skills.
It's a skill that persists.
Are going to be huge.
It's a big key with all of the units I'm going to be listing, besides Nero. Nero is the only one in this list that has the main use skills because he just hits so hard on his S3.
Yes,
and it's very quick.
It's like,
but it
perfect
does interrupt it as you saw before, and I do die.
All right, I am going to take the first ever podcast restroom break because I did not plan accordingly.
Okay, well, I will go with the second unit on my list. My first unit that I would love people to use in this mode is an S-Bet with S1. Roll as high damage as you can. Try to follow what I'm doing now, but like, don't worry if it's not as powerful. That's not a big deal. All you want to do is contribute to the damage that your buddies in the party are doing, because the best thing you can do is finish this quest as soon as possible to get those multiplayer rewards. The next unit that I'll go through, we already went through Nero kinda, because Nero's just slaps. Which people don't understand this Zekus build, because I know I've used him a lot in multiplayer itself, and people have, kind of been like, what the heck, you're using Sage Emperor Zekus to nuke the boss. Well, the biggest reason being that I have everything limited, so like he needs phone booth in order to function, unfortunately. His S3 is probably the highest damage cap, not the highest damage cap, but the highest damage potential single skill instant persisting skill that in the game.
It's a lot of qualifiers, but yes.
It's all the qualifiers that you need. You need a skill that's going to hit hard. For a lot of damage, you need a skill that's going to persist through the ult, because it does interrupt almost every other skill. And you need skills that are going to do over half damage in order to help out your team. His S3 is, I mean, I guess you could use his S1. I don't think it does half, at least half, but
it's a lot, but it's not half.
Yeah,
not
his
S3
S3 does, I believe is it 32 hits, and you can get it up to about 15k damage each hit. So it's well over half of the 300k HP, which I will state right now, since to clarify, Jalabahnga has 600,000 health. So if you want to contribute and you want to 2-shot with one of your buddies, each do 1 skill to kill it. It's going to make you're going to be wanting to do 300,000 in 1 hit or if you're using 2 other buddies to use, you know, everyone get 200,000. Zekus smashes with his S3, and it persists through the
It's so good.
Once you launch it, it's going to hit for the full scale of the attack. So you'll see right now, he will get interrupted in the middle of it, but it doesn't matter. Once you pop it off, it's still going to hit after this. And that's a lot of damage. So it's still persisted, and then he's got the skills to use. You just use S1 and it's an instant kill. He was my first real nuker for this quest on the first day it came out. I was like, oh my god, like, I have that imager. I mean, Crypt, you know the imager, the one I 2-shot at Jalabahnga with 1,000,000 HP. I was like, I have to use this. I have to try to use this in this map to see if it'll work, and it works beautifully. Now, I do have limited stuff like Flag, like Phone Booth, because I think it's about 35 SCT to get. Don't fact check me on that, but you can fact check me on that, I guess. But I don't know.
I think it's like 38.
Has, but it's a lot.
I think it's like 38.
Just one skill charge. So, if you need to use Abandoned City with skill charge, I think it should get it. I just use Phone Booth because I have it, because it gives me 30 SCT. But
so good.
It is
If
ridiculous.
you're
bomb
using...
is literally a carpet bomb. It's activated, and it almost does the whole thing now. I guess I should probably try it with the new ring to see if it does kill, which it's not going to. I know that, because it's an extra 32,000 damage is not going to be enough. So let me put that on and test, because I have not seen it yet, obviously. I just bought the thing. While we're discussing the units, the next unit that I would discuss is probably Alice, which is your favorite group.
It is.
It is. She is, again, we need skills that persist, that hit hard, and that are instantly activated. Her S2 is one of those skills. What was I doing? Let me get this on. Let's see if it actually does anything. It should be pretty close, but won't be the whole health bar. And it's tough to build him crit as well with Icy Guardian, because he won't cap with his S3.
Did you talk on why Icy Guardian is like that's the arc that you've been using for everything, for all of these characters?
For some of the other damage dealers, yeah, for like Nero and Alice, yes. The biggest reason Icy Arc is fantastic, because every crit is going to give an ice pursuit attack of half of the crit damage.
I see.
So if you hit for 15,000, it will hit for an icy. Again, it's going to be hit for an icy pursuit attack that's going to hit for 7,500 or 7,500 depending on their resistance, because that's affected by the resistance and not affected by Trishul at all. So it can be either higher or lower depending on what their ice resist is. For Jalabahnga, I think he has like 25, or maybe he has 0 resist. I think he might have 0 resist, but it does half of the damage for every crit. So you're basically doing an extra 50% extra damage on top of the damage cap for every critical attack, which is a big boost to damage if you can boost that critical rate. That's why I use it for Nero. That's also a big reason why I use that railgun, the Mecha Dragon Veldios or whatever. That Archie the reward adds another aspect to get a pursuit attack. It's a thunder pursuit attack. It has a 10% chance on any physical attack to do an extra 100% damage pursuit attack, which is kind of nuts. So it's an automatic, depending on their resistance, it's an automatic 10% damage boost over top of the damage cap, which is nutty. So he can't kill with that, but now let's move on to Alice, because she is fantastic in this mode. And I would throw on the Icy Arc. Another clarification of this arc is that this is completely wrong and doesn't make any sense to what it actually does. Critical physical attacks do 40% extra damage. This part, the critical attack, will have an ice attribute. Doesn't make any sense because it's just a pursuit attack for hit 50%.
I see.
So people will overlook that, and it's something that needs to be fixed and has not been fixed for forever. So I don't really get why, but what are you gonna do?
It's actually deterred me from using it, because let's say I throw it on top of like a no attribute. Let's say I wanted to use it on Bayland. I didn't want to turn his attacks into an elemental attack. Right,
and that's what a lot of people have said. Yep, I agree. It doesn't make any sense because it's not at all what it does.
There's a lot of instances of that, though. The translation, famously and historically, especially in cases where it's like special boost, when it came out, it said boosts skill damage by 50%. And like, holy crap, that's the most insane thing ever. Sharp Eyes does that, but it costs more SC and it costs MP every time you attack.
Right.
This is crazy broken. What it means is it boosts Slayer bonuses by 50%. And this is a translation error that actually persists in this game. It's still on the Phantom Sword from the tower that's out right now. I believe the wording there is still increases skill damage by 100% in Tower of Trial battles or whatever it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to pick it up
wrong.
because of that.
It's wrong. It's completely wrong. And you would have used it and you would have been very disappointed.
Wow.
Like many people have been. But then you put it on a character like Shift Lilebette or anybody with a Slayer equipped, and all of a sudden your regular attacks are capping. And it's like, what is happening here?
Wow.
And it's because it's just a wrong translation. And so most people will never see the full value of that weapon.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's why you got to hang around with people that dig into it and like see what's actually going on there. They need a better localization team, in my opinion, for like specifically for skill stuff, like things that are to do with the passives and how they augment like how things work, because it's important when you're looking at theory crafting, when you're looking at the nitty gritty crunchy stuff. Wording is extremely important, but more important than that is mathematics. Like the mathematics behind it are important, and it's very obfuscated in this. Very few things say exactly what they do, which is why we have community resources that have more like, you know, plain English explanations of what actually happens. And that takes a lot of community testing. That's another reason to support Lake. The resources that he provides are, again, invaluable to what we're doing. Because without those, we'd be guessing.
Yep.
That's insane.
I wonder how this works.
That's
So
insane.
just for people who are watching and are wondering about this Alice build, her S2 is her like bread and butter. I'm using Phone Booth, and I know you do too as well.
I do.
Buda,
I do.
To get 2 stocks in this immediately, but she has this skill that again persists. Once it's activated, it's going to hit for the full effect and damage. So even if she gets interrupted or like all happens right after she activates it, the skill's going to go through, and then it's almost instant. Like she can hit it 2 stocks on it very, very quickly, which is what you want in this mode. Alice is phenomenal. So far we have Nero was the first one we showed, then Shift Lilebette, Zekus, Alice, and now for the 4th one.
Well, can I stop you? Can I stop you? Can we talk about the Auto Slayer bug?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, we can.
I think
This did not happen to me on regular mode. So, an unfortunate byproduct of being beta. Some things have been overlooked. You talked about this in your video, Buda, so I don't need to touch on it heavy.
No.
The Auto Slayer mode, or the Slayer mode, when she has it activated, unfortunately activates super aggressively in this mode. It's only supposed to take off 10% of her health every time you use like a skill or like, yeah. It only takes off 10% of your health when skills or specials are used. This is going to take off a ton of your health if you try to spam the skills. Like if you try to click and use them as soon as possible, like it will take off 10% every single time. So if you're spamming skills, she's going to die very, very quickly, and it's not to your fault. It's just because of the bug. Normally, it only takes off 10% on an actual skill being used, but right now, it's when you spam it, you're just going to nuke yourself, nuke your HP. So if you're playing Jalabahnga with her right now, you need to take this off, unfortunately.
Unless you're looking for the suicide button.
Yeah.
I found the suicide button. It's Alice.
Which, again, that's just like a clarification. Hopefully they'll fix that by the time it comes around. But if you're using Alice, try to take this off. You can still use it with it. You can still use it with like Awaken and From Zero and stuff that actually works to bring your health back. But it's just easier just to take it off, in my experience.
Thank you.
Next person, the only person on this list that's actually permanent, who can nuke the heck out of Jalabahnga, is our girl Meredy.
Trash unit.
Her innate damage cap, and just impressive range skills give her a benefit more than pretty much every other unit that's permanent in the game. Well, definitely more than every other unit. She hits so hard, especially when built correctly. I have her a full strength build, and
oh yeah, baby.
So I have her a full strength build. I'm not expecting you to know, all this stuff. It's just the classic Bird Slayer special boost, Maglion because her skills are ranged, Fast Brave, Pride, anything to boost strength, and then just like huge PP damage. So this skill especially is going to be big for her, or this arc again, because it's essentially a huge damage boost to all of her skills against big enemies, and especially the first skill. So the reason why she's so good, but again, she takes phone boost to bring the life into her, and to get the max damage, because she needs that extra SET to activate her skill 3 off the rip. But you can use that followed by an S2 after the ult. Oh, her S3 does persist as well, so it will hit for the full amount regardless if you get interrupted. And then right after the ult, you can hit her S2, which actually does more damage than the S3. More hits, and she is very, very resistant to flinch.
Wow.
It's just one of her traits. So like she can just run over a little bit and just yeet an S2 at him, and he's just like just deleted. So Meredy was the first unit I ever used in this mode, because I'm a big fan of Meredy and her skill kit. It's just her kit in general. But she hits so hard, and especially with that new. You don't need the new ring at all. She caps very, very easily if you have Maglion and all those strength boosts, and like weapon high boosts and all that kind of stuff. So she's a phenomenal unit for this mode. If people would just get together and just use an S3 off the rip, you can pretty much guarantee a kill.
Easy taps. Easy taps. What unit are you using, Zero?
Well, I've been testing some things. I heard from your video the idea about Nero, and I don't have all the tools. It seems like you need phone booth. It is mandatory for him to be able to get Tweacz build, so I can't quite hit it. I can only get him to about 80%. Right. So I had an idea, and I'm wondering if you tested this Tweacz before I actually get it set up. But
sure.
Have you tried, because he's weak to Earth, making an actual caster such as Zleorg, for instance?
So
and then
he's not weak to Earth, though. That's the issue.
I misspoke in that. I misspoke when I said that.
Okay, I got you. Well,
he's neutral, though, so it's not that far off anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So regardless of that, I had the idea of doing like Scarlet Rod, Silent Science Flag, after 3,700 years because of how quick that animation is, and then just stacking all the different stuff with Sandworm, since it gives you that extra pursuit damage as well. He has a huge cap as it is. Have you tried to see how effective if he could 2-tap?
No, but I can't right now.
Like that? Yeah, well, I can as well, but
testing.
Well, I can do this shit right now.
I mean, the only issue there is that you're never gonna get a cast that's faster than just doing a skill, even with incredibly fast magic. And I mean that's not to say that it should always be the goal to like kill it before the animation goes off, but you're not gonna kill it before the animation goes off with spells.
Yeah, you could probably get a cast.
But
you're probably not one-shotting.
A good amount of damage to help out the team, absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
For sure.
So let me just throw this stuff on him.
And 3,700 just had a rerun, so it's very available to people. A lot of people will have it.
Yes.
I think 2 characters that deserve honorable mentions here. I don't think I heard you mention Kohaku, but her S1 is good, like especially if you're running several of her.
Yes, I agree.
A team of just Kohaku could like just shred him for nothing. And if you absolutely can't bring anything else, if you have nothing to contribute yourself, but you have Bayland, bring Bayland. His just general cap raise, actually very good. If somebody happens to have a well-built Nero, you guys have a chance of one-shotting. So if you got a sandbag, if you got to just like exist here, because it's totally worth existing here, and most of the people running it are going to be able to clear it. Like a lot of the people who are just consuming this, there's wild Tweacz out there, there's wild Cryptmen out there, and we're just eating up these lobbies, guys. If you put them up, they will probably get hit.
Yes.
So just get out there and just do it. You will get mad resources, and we'll all have a
yeah, there's plenty of people out there, and not just us two. There's plenty of people. Yeah, there's plenty of people who are just crushing it out there for
quick
absolutely
clears.
no reason other than to farm resources, and you will be loving it.
Yeah, and wait for 4 people, please.
Wait for 4 people, please.
Okay, that is the biggest takeaway from this.
Yeah.
Seriously.
The proest tip of them all.
That absolute biggest takeaway from all this is, which means that I should probably go run it a little bit.
Let's explain that. Let's explain why it's important to have 4 people in a run.
Okay.
And that is, we're gonna have to go into how loot drops work for multiplayer. The first couple days, everybody was real confused about how this worked. People were noticing things like, oh, well, I'm playing with my friend, and the loot that he's seeing is different from the loot that I'm seeing, and we don't know why. And Demos had a really good pin about this super early on that nobody understood. And that is, all of the loot that you see is yours. So, regular loot screen pops up. That first drop is shared. Everybody gets that drop. So everybody in the lobby gets the chest that drops. If you steal, everyone will get the same item if they stole. And by that I mean, if one person uses Beast Hunter and steals an item, and one person uses, I don't know, PT Robin or anybody else with a steal passive and also gets the steal, the item will be the same because the drops are determined before, like when you start. Drops are determined when you start the quest, not when you get the drop.
Yeah.
Now, we go on to that second screen, and that second screen is the one that was really confusing everybody, and that's the multiplayer drop bonus screen. And there, it was like, oh, well, I'm seeing these things next to these people. That's cool that that's what they're getting. That's not how that works. That's what you are getting from them being present. So the first item is your item. You get either 1 or 2, dependent on if you are a player or the host. And then you get 1 bonus item for everyone in your lobby. So when we thought you were only getting that first drop, it was like, man, these drops are really good. This is awesome. And it's kind of social. I get to see what my friends are getting. Nope. This is amazing. It is crazy, and everything in there is yours. So if you're confused about why your drop rates seem better or different than what you're seeing, or your interpretation of it was strange, that's why. Much like everything in this game, it is not readily explained. They just present it to us, and we are left to our own devices.
We have to figure it out. I did,
but there's a summary of how that works.
Yes,
for you.
thank you, Crypt. I did post a correction.
I'll see if I can get that screen up right now.
Cool. I posted a correction comment in my last multiplayer explanation video because that was one of the reasons I thought that loot was shared across the 4 people. And that was that is not the case. That's your loot, and everyone else has a different screen, basically, that participated there. So I wanted to make sure to clarify that. So I'm glad you went into detail right there.
This is very unfortunate that I'm running into a connection thing.
Yeah, we were running into that when we were testing earlier. So
you notice things when you're just, hanging out, playing with yourself.
You really wanted to get that in there.
You got it, man. I started to notice like patterns of stuff. It's like, wait, so this drop is the same. And the problem was, initially I wasn't really like running together with the account.
Yeah, what
I
up,
started running together. And I ran like resource dungeons, and there it's going to be a little bit different because some steal, you're going to get on one unit but not the other across the accounts and stuff like that. But when I started running them all 3 together, it's like, okay, there's no way any of this is coincidence. There's hard rules here at work. Let's figure it out.
Yes.
Let's see what's going on.
I did want to say, and obviously this is probably one of the most exclusive options, but I wanted to mention it because I saw it does work. A good old-fashioned G-Lucial plus Gwar.
Don't do it.
Don't do it?
Don't do it. Everybody's going to hate you.
But hey, if that's the character that carries you because you're low level and your other 2 players are low level, I'm just saying.
I think it still takes longer.
Oh, it's not about taking longer. If you can, because we can skill it off, we can easily nuke it with skills, and most people won't have that build. If you're struggling, then you can use it. But like most of us will be very, very annoyed if you're in our lobby.
Yeah.
Great War Ruin arcs and trying to use alts. Like the most common alts that I see that people try to use are G-Lucial and Alice. And it is because we can nuke it. It's very annoying to us, but I assume if you're in a total lobby with a bunch of people who can't clear it very quickly, it's probably good there. But just for future reference, if anyone's in our rooms, please don't use it.
If you use your ult while the boss is at 10% health in the first quarter second of the fight, I will never play with you again, ever.
Crypt will leave lobbies.
I will write down your name.
So, Crypt, do you want to explain real quick? I do have the screen up about loots, the drops. I know you've explained it already, but
just
I
to
do
get
have
the
a result
visual.
screen. So,
talk about what we're talking about. But yeah, so at the top there you see Tweacz bonus. You know, it's got his thing, and everybody was like, "Oh, cool, that's what I got," because it says multiplayer clear rewards, and then you're right there. But once you read, you know, I know we're not all fans of reading, but once you read a little bit more into it, you can see that you actually get all of those drops just for those people being present.
right.
So,
and a huge clue to that is if you click on these, they actually tell
that's
you
amazing.
the quantity
Of your
which
inventory.
means it's
Right.
going to your inventory.
Right.
notably, what doesn't tell you the quantity is the coins.
Your coins.
And I think that's because they are a trading space item, and they don't actually exist in your inventory.
I
I
see.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's
I was kind of bummed by that because it's like, man, I
everything
have to,
is
like,
yours that you
go.
see. Everything is yours.
as far as the eye can see, it's all yours.
So this is why you want full parties, because if you're running 2 or 3 people, you're not getting these extra 2 or 1 or 2 rewards. This cluster drop rate is just so insane that you want the maximum amount of people.
And
There's no reason not to have a full party.
Right. Right. And how good is the feeling when you see that rare multi-coin drop?
Oh,
Ugh.
So good.
I've never seen more than one. I'm waiting for somebody to
Really?
post where they get like 2 or 3 at a time.
In the same clear.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be ridiculous.
2 of them in the same clear, you said?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see like 2 or 3 posted
Oh.
in the same clear.
I
And then
actually
somebody's going to
see
post
2.
like, I got 7 rainbows from running as host with a full team and stealing. It's like, wow.
Shout out to Crypt.
It's like that dude who pulled all the URs.
We just ran our little room together, buddy.
I saw that.
Yeah.
What's up?
So Zero,
on?
I have a question. So
Yeah.
what are you running now that you aren't doing the multiplayer bonus or multiplayer? Are you running like event stages?
I am doing it. It just depends. I will usually at least do my training, and I've tried to just catch up and just make sure that I've cleared out some of the basic things of some of the rerun events, just to make sure that I have some progress there. Otherwise, yeah, everything's going towards multiplayer.
Nice.
As that charges. But I haven't started going through and grinding with like my potions, so I have all my potions still sitting. So when I want to just sit and rail on it, I can work on that.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So life just gets in the way of grinding for hours. So
Oh, yeah.
I've not gotten there.
No kidding.
I think a few of us are very fortunate that we don't have like a lot of excess.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we work. I mean, I work at all, but like I have the option to spend time on doing this stuff while I work. So like, it's not an issue.
Right.
Now, I think Buddha, you and I were talking earlier about what to use your orbs on, and it's kind of the same spot Zero's. Zero's kind of the same way. Is that what we had discussed?
Mhm.
Doing the events if you've already done them before, but like don't overspend your orbs in that area. If you have pretty much anything, it should be going towards multiplayer. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Just getting into the cost efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about it, but it's kind of summed up just by stating that the way I see it, the fact that this stage offers the yield that it does, and it expires in, what is it, 5 days now. Those event reruns are here for the whole, like a whole month. I mean, how much longer do we have? 26 days. This is going away in 5 days, guys. So, I mean, a week worth of grinding this is going to give you such a better return, I think, overall, on whatever orbs you can spend on it by the time it expires, rather than spending any time, you know, really putting orbs towards things that are still going to be around after that 5 day mark.
It's a leg up of literal weeks, if not months of grinding.
Months, dude. I cannot remember how the last time I had I could get this many rainbow clusters ever.
And Tweacz, you mentioned earlier that if these new characters require 30 rainbow clusters to fully max out a board.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Use this time to prepare.
Exactly. And I mean,
This
we
whole
all know what's coming around the corner. I say it every video. I say it every podcast. that 2-year Anni, which, I mean, we pretty much took up this whole discussion talking multiplayer, which I'm totally fine with. However, I know talking about 2-year Anni prep, I think would be good for a lot of players, myself included, in accounts earlier, because depending on your account, I think Zero, you brought it up, which is why I kind of wanted to see what we could touch on, and that's just managing your crystals when it comes to spending on these banners, because they're throwing a ton of banners at us. You want to make sure that you manage your crystals right. Recognize trap banners, know what sources you can still farm. You know, obviously we have story. These event reruns are great places to get some extra crystals. So we don't have too much time before I'd like to probably do the Q&A instead. But any thoughts you guys have on that? You know, 2-year Anni prep, grinding this Jalabahnga stage is prime right now. But anything else you guys notice?
Yeah, I mean, in general, like you said, trap banners are a big thing, and that's kind of what we've been flooded with, especially for new players that have just come in recently. Like, they can see all these cool new units, and I was talking with someone recently where they were in the shop looking at, oh, look at all this paid gear for these different units that are on banners and different things, and like, well, don't be chasing for the paid stuff. Especially on some of these other units. We've got this 2-year anniversary coming up, and even though we have no details, we know it's going to be good. Like, it's going to be good for paid players. It's going to be good for free to play, almost certainly. They nailed the 1.5 anniversary as far as banners that were available, and we know they're going to do something big. We should definitely have a new unit, hopefully Shift Kyle or something else. So everything that's here now, it just resists the urge. And, you know, it's tough because new people are going through the campaign, getting showered with gems. For veterans, they've been around long enough that, you know, you're probably to the point of just 100ing units to be able to get by as many gems as you can save. But for newer players, it's tempting to spin because everything looks shiny and pretty. But don't. You'll thank yourself in a few weeks when we get the 2-year, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that.
100%.
You see in my videos, I'm hoarding every single free crystal I can.
Seriously. No, it runs out. I'm at that point where I can't farm anything. Like, save your gems, please.
Right.
Please.
The real temptation is going to come in, 6 days when we get unnamed new units. Let's not talk too deeply about that, because the only thing that has officially been released is unnamed new unit. Coming on the banner.
We could speculate. We're still allowed to speculate.
I think the biggest thing to note,
I'm going to keep some distance from this then.
I think the biggest thing to note, though, for people that haven't had to manage resources with banners and such is I'd strongly recommend don't just chase the unit or just chase an arc. Like, if you're trying to debate on whether or not you should be doing something, just because a unit looks good, look at the arc and see if you like it as well, because odds are low of getting exactly what you want. So just if you happen to get the arc but you're shooting for the unit, make sure you're going to be happy with that result and not be salty with it. So, like, Shift Lilebette is an amazing unit, and I really wanted her. The arc, though, I don't think that it was very good. So I pulled regardless, and I would have just been fine with it because I'd accept my losses. I ended up not getting either, but her arc was just not good by comparison of her. So just whatever this new unit is, if the arc is also really fire or has a really, really good ether reward, then, you know, maybe it'll be good. But it'll always come back too, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think that's a good take on it. That's something I think is a pretty standard judgment basis for any gacha, is you want to look at what, because chasing a specific thing is always, you're most likely going to be led to disappointment. So you want to pay attention to the high value banners, quote unquote. Things that even if you don't get exactly what you were looking for, if you don't get the shiny new thing that's there, the residual pulls are also going to just allow your account to grow and become better naturally. Which Adis, I mean, Last Cloudia doesn't really do that, which kind of sucks. Like, they don't put old DOH units on the new DOH banners. I wish they would. I think all of us wish they would.
They did, and then they didn't, and then they were all on it, and then it was selective, and then there was super DOH, and then it's back to being focused.
Oh wow, I missed all of that.
They don't know what.
Yeah, they've been switching it around for a while now.
Yeah, they don't know what
I
they
don't
want.
think the formula is that hard. You take, let's say, new unit drops. Go. Oh, who do we got in there? Mr. Crypt, baby. You take the new unit. You go back 3 months. You take the last 2 DOH units from those 3 months back, and you pop them and you throw them in. Like, and then you include the arcs. Like, what is so? I don't know. What is there to figure out?
Money.
Yeah, it's all money.
But
every questionable decision they have made can be traced back to like, okay, this has to somehow in their eyes be more profitable for them than the alternative.
Right.
Well, like not having collab arcs be pitiable. You know, that's an infinite ceiling. There's no like
right.
I like to spend when I have a target. Right, when there's definitely a unit to pity at the end of it, or like multiple things to get along the way. You know, you got to have your targets, because rolling just uninhibitedly toward like, I'm going to throw money at this problem until it solves it with no ceiling on it is super, super dangerous.
Yeah,
it's not you know, a great financial plan for the future.
Or you know, chasing a UR without the finances behind it, like.
Or chasing a UR without the finances behind it. I don't think there's any amount of finances that it's like reasonable to chase URs.
Never, absolutely never.
No, so yeah,
worth.
I mean they could definitely use some help. I don't know. They should need to hire a consultant from another gotcha game that's. You know, it's hard for me to like really think they're making great decisions monetarily on that front, because I'm looking at, even though they are backed by IPs that are much bigger than an original creation, you've got the biggest gotchas, the biggest money makers that are set up exactly as we just talked about. So it's like, you know, but maybe it's because of Adis's size, maybe it's because of this game's size, that model doesn't work so well. I don't know. You know, obviously I'm not, like I said, a marketing expert, so just kind of talking.
Right. We don't have very much insight into their back end. No. And you have to realize, like, it's a totally different, and you're comparing it to things from a similar region. So, like, culturally, it's not different than the competitor necessarily, but, like, certainly from a Western versus Eastern marketing perspective, it is very different.
Okay.
Like, what we see as value versus what they see as value.
I see.
It's real crazy, and we talked about this just a little bit in the Discord the other day, and I'm not going to get too deeply into it, because one, we're a little bit out of time, and two, I don't even have like a beginning of like a great grasp on it. But you know, it's very much like copium over there to have like a gotcha game or something that you can dump a little bit of money into. Whereas over here, everybody's after like the free-to-play thing, right? Like free-to-play is like a huge thing. We want the absolute utmost value for our dollar.
Right.
And it's just viewed very differently.
Yeah.
And
really
again, we have very little insight into how IDIS operates beyond like public reports. You know, we know it's not a big gotcha by any means, but they seem to do okay for a company of their size.
Crypt, you're telling me it's pronounced IDIS?
I don't know.
Okay.
IDIS.
Okay. I just didn't know if I was pronouncing it wrong, and literally no one was calling me out.
AIDI $ is another really good one.
Okay.
I don't know.
Cool. But you are right. We are out of time and the discussion.
I would also pronounce Magellan. Instead of Magellan.
Instead of Maglion.
You know. Yeah. I think so. I think so.
Who knows?
But that's one of those words that, you know, a lot of us learn by reading, and it's very hard to know sometimes phonetically how that works out.
Yeah, no one in the game, no voice actor is saying it with their chest
yelling
out.
It at us.
All right, I think, unless you guys have any closing thoughts you need to mention, we can move over to some Q&A.
Sure.
Cool.
I think I'm good. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say other than, you know, be courteous to people in multiplayer. Find a fun sticker spam instead of like an abusive one, if you have to. But yeah, remember that all the people behind these other characters are like people now. We're actually connected to the other players. So just keep that in mind when you interact. So cool. And I know the interaction's very, very limited, but like, let's be fair, you can still be super toxic here. Don't do it. But it's possible.
Luckily, I haven't seen too much. I haven't seen too much yet.
Yeah. Doing 1 or 2 second clears really prevents how toxic people
That is
can
true.
be.
I saw the funniest thing in my Discord. Someone was like trying to pop off or it said interviewer, what's an accomplishment you recently had? And the guy said popping off Bees Hunter before Buddha's Alice cleared the board.
Wow. Wow.
I loved it. All right, here we go. From Cal Fanite, the homie. Do you see Adis extending multiplayer stages to compensate those that couldn't play? This is an actually really good question.
No.
I don't think they will. I mean, we'll definitely have like more multiplayer stuff come afterward, but I doubt that like this beta stage specifically is going to get extended.
Right, and I think they're collecting enough data by people just hammering this quest and all this kind of stuff that they're not.
Hey,
they're not going to extend it.
I had a question that's been brought up several times in my chat and over the last couple days. And Tweacz, you might have some insight on this. Does Taiwan have a testing button for the units on their banner?
No way.
Is that a thing that exists?
You know what? I've stopped pulling in that game because I'm saving gems, so I actually don't know.
Okay, I've been told that there is like a unit test function, and it lets you play as the unit with like a full ult straight from the beginning.
You know what's funny? I can
my
bring that
God.
up right now and see if it actually doesn't.
It's apparently on Lily's banner,
Okay.
Wow.
and apparently it also gives you like 50 crystals for
So they
for
took that,
participating in it.
at least from my knowledge, they took that from Genshin. Genshin does the
Interesting.
same thing. They have it. You can test out the unit and it gives you a little a currency reward.
Interesting. And now you got to keep in mind that Taiwan is Bolt Rend running the show instead of Idis, because they're just the publisher.
Bolt
Right.
Okay.
So they have a lot to do with how Taiwan is being treated. You know, that's not really a basis for things that we can be like, hey, they have this, why don't we have this? It's literally two different companies running the game.
Yep.
And that's why they have it, not us. Also, they're on a huge time crunch as compared to where we were. So, you know.
Yeah, they're playing major catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, pro tip from Deimos. How to not be salty with gacha. Only roll if you can guarantee you pull what you want.
Right.
Pity.
Yes.
An exclamation. And
I think Crypt
parentheses.
touched on that is having targets, right? And having
A
reasonable
definitive
targets.
endpoint.
Reasonable gem targets. If you have a unit or an arc that you really want and it's pitiable, go after it. But do not chase things that are without reason to them.
Except don't pity anything, right? Although, like, so there's a grand pity here, right? That's all the banners combined have the same medals, so you can get whatever's in the shop right this second with all of the banners. But coming up in Anniversary, there might be a selector. So it might be a little bit cheaper to pick out a certain thing. What I'm advocating for is wait until a little bit later. Wait until later on until you make these decisions. You don't have to pull right now, right? Like the banner is going to be the exact same banner the first day or the last day. But the last day, you might have some information about what's coming next. The roadmap they put out is, I think I mentioned it before, one of my very favorite things that they've ever done to let us know what to expect for a full month.
That was great.
If that could become the standard, that would be amazing. I know that's kind of like in the run-up to the Anniversary, so it's kind of a special thing. But if they could do that more often, I would be just a huge fan of that.
Yeah, no, that was really wonderful.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch on something along the lines of, spending and, disappointment potential in gachas and things like that. One of the things that I started to do that I think helps a lot with kind of that mental toxicity of, especially if you're a light spender, like I spent maybe $100 in this game overall over the last year that I've played. But I found that if you go into it not really expecting to get anything and treat purchases more so as a donation to a developer that you want to support for a game that you enjoy, but not getting anything back, it helps a lot. Like, you don't want to feel like you're entitled to be getting anything unless, like you said, you can guarantee through pity getting what you want. So if you're just going to throw a little bit of money at the game, odds are it's probably not going to get you very far. So if you want to do it, I recommend treating it as a donation to devs that you appreciate. And then if you happen to get something, it's extra glorious. Otherwise, It's just a little bit healthier, I find. So if that helps anybody out there in that similar boat, yeah.
For sure. That's the perspective I try to take too. Anytime I'm putting money, it's not to get the character on the banner I want. It is simply a donation to Adis or Idis, however it is said, to you know, exactly that, support the game. And I think just that little shift in perspective can take away a lot of the disappointment and sadness I know we all feel when
so bad
when
it hurts so much.
When that balloon just stays blue or stays gold, doesn't go anywhere. And I love your point, Krypt. And yes, as a normal player, waiting until you don't have to summon the day that it drops, but man, it's not going to work for me, bro. I got to make a video.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work for you, and it doesn't work for me either. I say these things, and then like the minute the banner comes out, I'm live and I'm pulling on stream. And, like, it's what we do. But like, live vicariously through us. Watch us do that. There's support us in doing that, and then draw your conclusions on what is actually worthwhile once people have tested it out. You know, you don't have to be the first person on the block to do it. If you do have to be the first person on the block to do it, good luck beating Tweacz to that.
That's why
and more power to you.
Right.
But yeah, no, wait, be patient. As in all things, patience is a virtue. So just wait it out, and you will be rewarded in the end, and you will be able to better invest what limited resources you have, especially for free-to-play players, right?
Yep.
It's really easy to get caught up and just want it. Man, oh man, that unit looks so cool. That arc looks so cool, and especially the craziest thing I see is people like chasing permanent arcs. And if it's something particularly game-breaking, if it is something particularly game-changing, then yes, like if it's something you have to have, it's good to chase it while it's focus, as opposed to hoping to get it off focus later. But yeah, the real takeaway here is just wait, just hold, diamond hand your gems, and you'll be rewarded.
Time and patience always subverts RNG eventually.
Usually, yeah.
Usually.
And then 10,000 pulls down the road, you still don't have an OG unit,
Lila.
And I had I had to select her OG Lila, who was like a day one unit. Had a plus 20 Dark Melza, just coincidentally.
Wow.
By the time I selected one Lila, still haven't gotten a dupe.
That's great. That's great.
That's
it. Someone from the behind the scenes programmed your account. I'm calling it.
Yeah. Seeded.
That's what it seems like.
Weighted.
Cal was like, best luck isn't at the start of the banner. What?
Yeah.
That's how it always feels. That's how, whenever that banner drops, it's like, they must have upped the rates as soon as it drops. I actually find, which is probably totally coincidental, I have awful luck if I try to summon at the very initial drop of each banner. But
I mean, luck is luck is luck.
Luck is luck is luck.
The reason you think
that
it is so much higher is because all of the people who are doing it, and especially now, because we are all so connected, because the Discord exists, because everybody wants to show off their pulls, it's confirmation bias. You know, we see it happening, so we believe that it's happening on like this irregular scale, because nobody who isn't pulling it, I mean, that's not true. It's not nobody. Some number of people who aren't pulling it are complaining about it, but the vast majority of people are excited and sharing it and showing it to us. And we're very visually tuned, you know.
Exactly.
We respond to that. So that's a little bit of what's going on there. Luck is luck. RNG is RNG.
Luck is luck. I love it. Well, on that note, yeah, kind of a little bit of a quiet room. Not too many questions. So I want to give Zero you the opportunity to do some plugs, because you're starting to post content now on YouTube. So if you got anything else you want to talk about or plug for you, let the people know.
All right, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, so starting to put out a couple. I've got a ether grinding video, as well as a kind of helping new players to better understand the complexities in the game, because it's a little overwhelming when you come in. Later today or tonight, I'm going to be dropping my first unit deep dive. So if anybody wants some of my perspective on Gen, I'm going to have that out at some point. So that'll be fun. Taking much longer than my other videos to edit. It's beefy, so that'll be good. And then if anybody wants to come over and chat, ThatZero chats in Discord. Otherwise, ThatZeroPlays on YouTube. And I'm going to be streaming on YouTube primarily, just because it's easier for notifications to get subscribers in there. So I'm probably not going to be on Twitch anymore. So I've streamed over there a couple times, but I'm mostly going to be on YouTube for the time being until I can justify streaming on multiple platforms. So
Twitch is streaming hard mode.
Yes. No kidding. No kidding. Awesome, dude. Well, thank you for coming on. Happy to bring our first guest. Happy it was you. Any final shout outs, anything you guys want to plug? Krypt, Tweacz, you already know.
I mean, all I can say is I'll see you guys out there against Jala. I'm getting those.
You're getting those rings before the 5 days?
I'm grinding the heck out of this thing, so
nice.
I'll see you out there.
He may or may not be the first person with one ring, but he is certainly going to be the first person with all three.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I have it from inside sources that things are about to get fucking wacky.
I believe it. I believe it. Krypt, you're gonna be streaming after this is over.
Yeah, I was streaming before this. I'm streaming right now during this. I stream pretty much whenever I'm free to at this point. I don't really have a schedule. So if you follow me, you'll get notifications. If you're in my Discord, you'll get notifications. If you're on the LC Discord, you'll get notifications. If you're in Buddha's Discord, you'll get notifications. I'm a lot of places these days. I'm on Twitter, but that's less relevant and mostly just so I can be angry at people I don't know. But yeah, I'm around. I'm easy to find.
Cool. Well, on that note, I think that's all we got for you this time. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we will run this again next week. Look out for those notifications. And thank y'all for coming. Y'all know what I say. Work hard, play harder. See you in the next podcast.
Hey, thanks again, guys. I appreciate you having me on here. It was a good time.
Heck yeah, man. It was a pleasure,
good
bro.
to have you.
I'll see you around.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Take care, brother.